In just its second ever edition, World GP Bike Legends, the Race of Legends, has now firmly established itself as an unmissable opportunity to witness motorcycle legends from the golden era of Grand Prix back out racing. Coupled with the unforgettable shriek of brutal two-stroke 500cc's screaming around one of the most historic venues in world motorsport, it's undoubtedly going to awaken emotions of nostalgia and excitement amongst you. Just like for the lucky German fans this time who got their chance to witness some of the greatest ever names in motorcycle racing back in action as part of the popular SACHSENRING Classic Festival. The weekend's main event offered the local bike racing fans a unique opportunity not only to see and hear those incredible 500cc beasts back out on track and racing flat out, but also to get up close and personal with some of their racing idols. And that's what we're going to be doing too over the next hour, with famous names from the 50s right up to the present time from every corner of the world. World GP Bike Legends, the Race of Legends, will take you back in time. And what better venue to host the first of two events in 2016 than the legendary SACHSENRING circuit near Dresden in Germany. Having played host to motorcycle races in the streets of Hohenstein-Ernstthal since the 1920s and Grand Prix since the 60s, the track is steeped in history, and as such the passion of the local fan base is clear for all to see. Nigh on 31,000 fans made the trip to the famous southeast German location, armed to the teeth with cameras and autograph books to rekindle memories of the past and perhaps create a few new ones along the way. Before the riders could get out on track though, we had to get them to Germany first of all, and waiting at Dresden Airport for the new arrivals was the World GP Bike Legends rider ambassador Wayne Gardner alongside seven-time world champ Phil Reed. And flying in from all corners of the world were the likes of Jim Redman, Fast Freddie Spencer, the King of Slide himself, Gary McCoy, as well as Didier de Radigues and Jeremy McWilliams, as the legends all took a chance to quickly get reacquainted.
Hey Jim.
Welcome to sunny Germany.
Welcome.
Hello. Thanks. Hello, Mr. Rodder.
You well? Good to see you guys. Hey, there you well?
Good. Yeah.
You well?
Good.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Still haven't shaven that off.
Can we do
Hey,
okay?
amigo. You okay?
Okay. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Hello, darling. You well?
Yes, and you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for coming. Good to see you.
Our pleasure.
Jeremy, you well? You okay? Yeah, good to see you.
You all right?
Good to see you guys. You all right? Yeah, good to see you. Well done. Good. Well, we've got lots of bikes. Yeah. Everything's all here, so I'm looking forward to putting you on stage. Your last race.
Last race.
Yeah. Good. You ready?
Yeah, you're going to let me win it.
Yeah. Well, we think about it. Yeah. And the fans have been out the track now. And there's thousands of fans. And you know, do you get lots of fan mail from East Germany? I do.
Yeah, always.
Pleasantries out of the way then, and it was on to the SACHSENRING, so the action could finally get going. But first of all, let's get you up to speed on what World GP Bike Legends is. It's a weekend of action, this time out at the SACHSENRING, and featuring a roster of true legends from motorcycle history racing each other on the original 500cc two-stroke machinery from the golden era, with a proper festival atmosphere to boot. Perhaps the best man to explain it, however, is Nick Wigley.
Well, World GP Bike Legends and the Race of Legends is this fantastic emotional cocktail of some of the most brilliant riders that you will ever have seen and that the fans will ever have seen, put back onto the most legendary machines that have ever been ridden anywhere, most successful bikes anywhere, put that all together into a race. They're out there actually having fun, they're smiling, they're laughing, and when they come back into the paddock after the race, they're interacting with all the fans and giving them the opportunity to get up close to them, get their autographs and talk to them and be with them, back with the legends. Last year was, as you know, the launch of Bike Legends and the Race of Legends. It was the idea of putting the concept out there and seeing if we could really make it work. It was a fantastic event. It was very hot. We got a great number of people, and I think the legends that we got there and the bikes that we got there did put on a fantastic spectacle. So we definitely proved that the concept could work. It was a great event. And then, as you know, we wanted to take that on. So for this year, the plan is not just here at the SACHSENRIng. We're going to go on to the Silverstone Classic in July. Smaller group there because it's a much bigger event, but we have a much smaller amount of time to do anything. So it's going to be a group there of only 10 bikes, but once again in front of a massive crowd.
So just who are the stars and legends out on show? The rider ambassador for World GP Bike Legends is Wayne Gardner, the 1987 500cc world champion. And the Aussie is joined by American Freddie Spencer, 3-time world champion in 500s and 250. Phil Reed, a 7-time world champion in 500s, 250 and 125. Jim Redman, 84 years of age and a 6-time world champion in 250s and 350s. Didier de Radigues, a former 500cc rider and multiple Grand Prix winner in 350s and 250s. Gary McCoy, a former 500cc and 125cc multiple Grand Prix winner. Jeremy McWilliams, former 500cc rider and 250 Grand Prix winner. Germany's Ralph Bollmann, a former 500 rider, but best known perhaps for those battles in the 250cc class when he was championship runner-up more than once. Pier Francesco Frankie Killy, a former 500 and 250 race winner and a world superbike legend, of course. The Flying Dutchman Jurgen van den Gerberg, former MotoGP 500cc and 250 rider, and former 500 riders Niggy Schmassman, Manfred Fischer and Lothar Neukirchner. The backdrop for this weekend's action could not be more fitting, with the SACHSENRIng one of the most iconic locations on the whole Grand Prix calendar. Whilst for the last 20 years or so the racing action has taken place on the purpose-built racetrack, prior to that the circuit existed as a street-based venue. Races have been going on in this part of Germany since 1927, and the 8.7 km long original SACHSENRIng played host to the GP World Championships between 1962 and 1971. It was behind the Iron Curtain, of course, and hundreds of thousands of fans would line the route. Luckily for us, Phil Reed was racing here and winning back then, so who better to take us back in time and around the old course than the 7-time world champ himself, as he reminisces on taking a win here on his first visit in 1964. So Phil, just talk us through what's it like for you coming back here? When was the last time you were in SACHSENRIng?
Well, I did a few demos with the classic Yamahas, I think about 4 years ago, on the new circuit, the first time I've seen it. And after about 5 laps, I was bored, and then took my own vehicle around the old circuit. And I thought, now this is exciting and frightening, in actual fact, because it's like the normal roads, you know, the normal as it was. Well, we're talking about sort of 50 odd years ago.
You first came here in 1964?
64 on a factory Yamaha, yeah, with just 2 Japanese mechanics.
And you won?
I won, yeah. Yeah, this is the old circuit now, almost as it was. And I think they, a real consideration, they put the odd straw bale in front of a lamppost and brick wall. Yeah, it was, well, I suppose we were racing in the Isle of Man, and although we were used to racing on the road circuits and not crash, but there was one problem, you know, with the 2 strokes, of course. that they tended to seize.
So that finger hovering.
So you had two fingers hovering on the clutch. See, the road is not much different to as it was. You're rushing through here at 120 miles an hour, you know, flat out. Yeah, they were lining the circuit here and waving because they didn't have television then, you see. And there were 300,000 of them. I mean, it was just unbelievable, unbelievable. And here on the corner used to be a famous old restaurant. Well, the old owner's working in the paddock now for the T. Magostini. But that restaurant was covered in pictures of famous riders over the years. I remember in the first 250 race I had, Mike Howard was on the MZ, and Mike was coming out of here and he turned the power on and it flicked him off. And I nearly ran over and I just missed him. And I thought, well, that's Mike out of the way. And then there was Jim Redman on the Honda 4-cylinder that I battled with throughout the race. And I'll tell you, when we come to the last corner, I'll talk you through it. And it was a long pull up the hill here to a fast downhill section before you get onto the road that runs by the motorway. But the service here is good compared with 40, 50 years ago. This is motorway. They put up these poles supported by wires, and there were about 5 or 6 of them up, you know, about 20, 30 feet high, having aerial views of the circuit. It was quite incredible. Now down here is really, really fast. You think that even the 250s were doing 150 miles an hour down here. And this used to be an impressive corner, because if you didn't take a good line and speed through here, you lost it up the straight quite fast, yeah, but here it comes down to a tightest left-hander. There used to be a tight corner there. Now this starts one of the fastest frightening sections. I remember, obviously we'd lost Mike, and I think about the first or second lap, and I was dicing with Redman. We were slipstreaming each other down here and passing and repassing. There weren't barriers or straw bales. Perhaps the odd lamppost would have a straw bale, but if you crash down here, you disappear into the woods or hit a house. You know, it's absolutely flat out down here. Yeah, Jimmy Guthrie was leading on the north and ahead of the BMWs, and I had a rumour from the son of a marshal who was convinced that he was shot leading the race. Just there, yeah. Well, apparently he was buried the next day, and there was no post-mortem, and his body just disappeared, never to be seen again. But it could be, I mean, the Nazis were so intense in promoting German products, you know, like the Olympics. Well, I was tucked behind Jim Redman down here on the last lap. We were about the same sort of speed. So I reckon the only way to pass him was outbrake him up the inside. And you can see the old control tower, which they preserved for posterity, yeah. That's from the 40s. And the corner used to go around here. I managed to slip past Jim and beat him by about a 1/10 of a second, which I thought was a pretty good effort, because Honda's had their full team here, you know, with a dozen mechanics, and I had just 2 mechanics and my Citroen Safari with 2 bikes.
Thanks, Phil, for that step back in time, and maybe the sound of these beauties will take you back there too. There may have been some special riders on show at Sachsenring, but there were also some truly special pieces of kit. two-stroke 500cc bikes, mainly originals from the storied past of Grand Prix racing, including Phil's own Suzuki RG500 Mark I from 1976. A 1980 Suzuki RG500, a former Randy Mamola machine owned by Chris Berryman and Jim Redmond's bike for the race. This is the gorgeous Yamaha YZR 500 being used this weekend by Gary McCoy, now owned by fellow competitor Niggy Schmassman. McCoy commented just how much it took him back to the bike he won 3 Grand Prix on in 2000. Freddie Spencer is on one of Kenny Roberts Jr.'s 1999 RGV Suzukis, the XR89, with Jürgen van den Gerberg on the 1998 version, which was raced by Nobu Aoki. All part of renowned collector Steve Wheatman's Team Classic Suzuki. Ralph Waldman also rides one of those, the Mark X 1986 RGV 500. There's a gaggle of Kajivas out too, with Didier de Radigas getting to ride his very own Kajiva V587. That's thanks to collector Dean Simpkins. Wayne Garner rides his V591, which was campaigned by his rival Eddie Lawson, while Frankie Killett is on the V592. Also keep an eye out for these. Jerry McWilliams is on a V4 Ronax 500, a modern GP two-stroke built in Germany, complete with milled billet aluminium engine cases and Honda NSR 500 inspired chassis and bodywork. That looks fantastic, as they all do, and the great thing is, they still sound as good as they ever did. You'll get to hear those bikes out on track in full race mode shortly, but before that, two of the driving forces behind World GP Bike Legends are two of the most popular riders of all time. Wayne Garner and Fast Freddie Spencer. It's now 30 years since they were teamed up for the last time as part of the Rothmans Honda squad, which became so emblematic in the 80s. It's also 30 years since Garner won his first Grand Prix, the 1986 Spanish Grand Prix at Jarama, a race which, having been led by Freddie Spencer, signified a handing on of the baton.
I don't know if you'll remember, but it's 30 years now since your first 500cc Grand Prix victory at Jarama. Do you remember much about it?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, because I was Freddie's teammate at that point.
My hand and wrist problems really had started in '85, and I had it through there, the numbness and different things. But it was that event which was the beginning of the end, and I'd kind of felt that anyway. But I'm leading the Grand Prix. I hadn't ridden a bike in 8 months. I'd let it rest, I was getting injections. I'd gotten in the best shape, really even better than '85. I show up a week before that Grand Prix, tested, was right on pace, got pole on Friday, was leading the Grand Prix on Sunday.
I was not under pressure to win. I was looking for my first victory, and Freddie was on pole. I think I was second. Mr. Honda was there, we all wanted to perform. But Freddie dropped out. I think something happened to his contacts or some issue he had.
And I'm coming down the hill, and I went in there and I went to squeeze the brake, and my hand, I couldn't even squeeze the brake. It was like the signal just couldn't get my fingers, and that was literally, that was it.
I think Eddie was leading, and the Yamahas were strong there. I think Randy. And I just concentrated on trying to follow them and use the Honda's strengths and the acceleration. Yeah, I just remember coming onto the start and finish on the last lap going, I'm finally going to win a GP, I'm finally going to win one. So, you know, that memory sticks with you forever.
The thing is, it was really traumatic. Now, I didn't probably show it that much then. You know, I went to the press conference and got asked questions, and, you know, you're trying to explain, and, you know, you're positive and all these things. But it was really the most traumatic thing. And he always tells me, he goes, well, you know, thanks for dropping out, because that was his first GP victory, you know. But I mean, he was obviously destined to be a world champion, and great for Australia. It's always nice the first.
That specific win started when I was on the boat journey over from the UK to Santander, and then during the boat journey, which was about Tuesday or Wednesday prior to the event, was with all the racing teams all travelling together. We ended up drinking beers and having arm wrestling competitions. I know I woke up with a headache the next morning and a sore arm as well, and I had like a strained elbow, and I had like this extremely painful right arm, which is my throttle. And I went to see a doctor, and a Spanish doctor there, and I said, oh look, I've got a problem with my elbow and a pain. He went and walked away, he brought back a box full of pills and pulled them out and said, Tres días in mountain, I went, okay, that must be 3 times a day during the week, and so I started eating these disgusting tasting pills. Things were going really well and my elbow started getting better, and then we did a press conference in the Rothmans Hospitality before the first race with all the media, and they said, how's your elbow, Wayne? And I said, a lot better, you know, it's amazing in the 4 days or that it's improved. Oh, and how have you fixed that? And I pulled out these tablets and I said, oh, well, I've been eating these and they taste disgusting. And one of the journalists said, you've been what? You've been eating those? I went, yeah. I said, they taste like wax. They went, you're a typical Aussie, everything's upside down, they're suppositories, you fool. And then I realised, well, they were about this long, about 2 inches long, and shaped in a torpedo shape, and taste like wax. So I've been eating those all week. I didn't realise they're supposed to go in the back end, and I've been eating them, and it was the most disgusting taste I've ever had in my life. But you know what? It fixed my elbow and made me win on my first race, so maybe I should have had sponsorship from the suppository sponsors.
So whilst Freddie and Wayne reminisce, the rest of the riders are getting ready for the first race of the weekend. We caught up with 3 more of the legends on show to see how they were looking forward to racing once more.
It's very nice to be again with my ex-colleagues, let's say. Wouldn't do all season, all championship, but twice a year. It's very nice. It's also nice to meet the owners of the bikes. You know, they have a big passion. They know here I'm riding the Cagiva, and the owner Dean knows the bike better than I do. He knows exactly what the result I had in '87 with that bike. And also, you know, the crowd here in East Germany, it's very, very passionate. I never understood how they could find my address and ask me for autograph after so many years. And I moved a lot and always find me back. So, yeah, it's very nice to be again with all these people and sure, with the bike. This morning I had to seize again. It was a long time I didn't seize an engine. And it happened, so it still work.
Yeah, I enjoy so much because to ride 500 is every time a nice feeling, you know. These are I say the old real motorbikes, you know. This was a class. Now it's MotoGP, in the old times 500, so it was the king size of the class from the motorsport. So to ride that bikes is very, very nice. So now I'm nearly 50 years old, but you know, motorcycle racing and driving also on the road is like a drug, you know, and you can never give it up. This is a problem. It don't exist some methadone, you know, that you can get and stop. When you one time have this virus, you never can stop.
For me, all together here is also a good moment to speak about our futures, about what we do now in our life. And I think I am one of a lucky guy because my working now is on the beach.
And what about hearing two-strokes and being on a two-stroke again, being back in and hearing the sound of the sound that was so apparent in Grand Prix racing for so many years?
Yeah, I come in from two-stroke, definitely 125, 250, 500, and I remember very well, and I was very good also to fix the carburation of the bike, because I working also with my uncle on the workshop from when I was 10 years old, and this is good experience for me. And also on the road, when I smell somebody use the rich oil, I follow, even if I am with a car, because it's like a good memory.
The two-stroke bikes have no helps, you know, no electronic helps. So you must be careful with your hand, because if you open a little bit too quick the gas, you jump off the bike, and this makes it also very, very interesting to ride this bike, because you have every control of the bike, and no electronic has some controls. You have the control.
We couldn't breathe this morning in the garage. So many two-strokes, so many smoke. Yeah, the feeling on the bike is very nice, you know. Especially here with this uphill, and goes really very easy. The Cagiva from '87 is very brutal, quite hard to ride, but it's a very good feeling. It's like if it was yesterday, so it's nice.
Riders lining up on the grid, ready for race action here then at the Sachsenring. This brilliant 3.7 kilometre, 2.3 mile track, 10 laps for the legends. It's Freddie Spencer who's going to be starting from pole position on the number 19 machine, the Kenny Roberts Jr. 1999 Suzuki. There's Gary McCoy alongside him on the front row. Watch out for McCoy, number 10 here today. McWilliams heading up the second row of the grid. And there's Jürgen van der Gerberg. He's on the 1998 Suzuki. Didier de Radigues, number 17, on his own bike. The bike he rode. As Frankie Killy's also on a Cagiva here today. Niggy Schmassman, a 500cc journeyman, shall we say. Really good crowd. In fact, the crowd have been allowed onto the grid, which is why it's so busy down there. Then Manfred Fischer, first sight of him. He'll be popular here. And Phil Reed. There he is, all ready to go, all ready to show off to the cameras, as he always has been throughout his long career. That's Jörg Schulhorn, former German champion. And this is Lothar Neukirchner as well, riding that beautiful Kawasaki. And there's Ralph Waldmann as well. He's on the number 9 machine. Ducati leathers, but it's a Suzuki's riding. What about Jim Redman? He's lining up on the Mark 1 Suzuki RG 500. Right at the back, Michael Neves, road tester for Motorcycle News in the UK. He's right at the back of the grid, but the red flag's been taken away. We're ready for racing then, here at Sachsenring. Spencer gets away well from McCoy. Wayne Gardner on that front row as well, but look at the smoke being kicked out by Gardner's machine. That doesn't look too healthy. As they power down towards turn 1, it's going to be Spencer leading. Very tentative. There have been a few spots of rain while the riders were sat on the grid, so you can understand them in these early stages, just taking things a little bit cautiously. Out of the Omega, open over turns 4 and 5, and then down through 6 past. Look at the crowds here who've turned up. They love their classic racing in this part of Germany, and they're going to enjoy today. Down the waterfall for the first time, it's Spencer leading from Gary McCoy in second place, and then in third is Jeremy McWilliams, and it looked like Ralph Waldmann. Yep, Waldmann just in behind on the number 9 machine. We go on board with Freddie Spencer. Up and over the start-finish straight, you can see as they cross the start-finish line now. Puff of dust, and that's actually where Jim Redman's bike was. It was leaking oil. Unfortunately, he was withdrawn from the grid, so no Jim Redman out there. That's a real shame not to see the 84-year-old. I hope to take part in his last race this weekend. But as always, Sunday's racing here, the second race at the Sachsenring. So Gary McCoy leads on the YZR 500. Jamie McWilliams just in behind. You can tell a few looking around. I wonder if there's a few more spots of rain out there. But it's McWilliams who is going to take over. No, McCoy back on the inside. Bit of caution shown, I think, there from the Ulsterman. There's Wayne Gardner on the Cagiva. Looks fantastic. Sounds great, that bike as well. Just a few gremlins perhaps in the system. At the front now, it looks like Waldmann's taken over now. So Ralph Waldmann. I'm sure the crowd will be delighted with that, as Waldmann now starting to pull away down through the waterfall. Well, he's obviously clearly just the happiest in these conditions. Riding that Mark 10 RG 500 from 1986, another of Steve Weekman's Team Classic Suzuki. It looks brilliant, doesn't it? And Waldmann really attacking. Pace is hot at the front actually, and the rest are struggling to keep with the German. And that's it. Checker flag out. Ralph Waldmann comfortably the winner. There you can see, celebrates with the crowd. Wildy, as they know him in these parts, he's so happy. He's never actually won here at the Sachsenring before. And that'd be a great moment for Valman to stand on the podium on the top step for the first time here at Sachsenring. Freddie Spencer in second then. And it's Jeremy McWilliams who's going to take third place for Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The German national anthem rings around the Sachsenring with a home winner in Ralph Valman.
Ralph, shows your trophy. You're the first Race of Legends winner here in Sachsenring.
Yeah, so I'm very happy. Now I can win the Sachsenring, you know. Years before I always second and third and I fall off and go in the gravel bed, but now I'm winning. Yes, and I'm very happy.
Second place today there, Freddie. Was that fun? You were out there. Looked like you, McWilliams, McCoy, were all having a great laugh.
Oh, it was great. You know, it's such a great opportunity to come here and race in front of all these passionate motorsports fans in this part of Germany. As we've talked before, you know, they were so supportive of us 30 years ago, and so there's a lot of great things about it. It was just a lot of fun, and each lap I can't wait till tomorrow, you know, to ride again, and such a great treat to be able to go out there and race. And
honestly, the kind of started off at a good pace, and it just got faster and faster and faster. And in the end, you know, I'm really trying to hang on to Freddie, because I don't let him break away. It's like what happened with Rolf, you know, he just made that little bit of a gap and we couldn't close him. So I dearly wanted to be standing on the podium. Would have liked to be in the top step, but you know, we got another race tomorrow. What an awesome event, and that's probably racing, you know.
So with race one complete, there's still loads more to come at the World GP Bike Legends. It's time now though to catch up with a true legend of the sport, 84-year-old Jim Redman, who was prevented from taking part in that first event on Saturday at Sachsenring because of issues with his bike, but the second race should be his last ever racing appearance.
Well, my last race, unless I race again at Silverstone, so my last race in the continent of Europe, and then perhaps in Silverstone I'll have one more, and in a few parades and things like that. So my last year of parading, I had 17 years of racing and now 21 years of parading. Yeah, it was 450,000 when I came here in '68, and the organisers, 1958, sorry, and the organisers are never happy with the crowds. They're always moaning about. And they said, you know, we had 620,000 the first race after the war, and now it's gone right down to only 450,000. And it was that all the time I came here. It's so well, yeah, and you can ride around parts of it. But in '58, all the corners were cobblestones, and all the straights were tarred, you know. So, you know, cobblestones are not the best to ride on, and if it rains, it's terrible. But luckily for me, I was quite good on the cobblestones, and I could really feel it and stretch it. So I didn't mind them at all. And so I was lucky here. I've always had good results here. I don't know how many podiums and things like that, but I know that I got a second in the 500 race, I think 1959 or 1960, and it was Gary Hocking who won, both of us on Nortons. So that was Bulawayo, which is a tiny little town in Africa in the old Rhodesia, and the two Bulawayo African guys, first and second in the German Grand Prix, the East German Grand Prix.
Riding under the Rhodesian flag, Redman enjoyed rivalries with some famous names during his career, striking up a good friendship with Mike the Bike Hailwood and a particularly healthy rivalry with fellow Sachsenring runner Phil Reed.
Yeah, him and I could always play with his head a little bit. And for example, we were here and it rained and we didn't know what the tyre was like in the rain, and it hadn't rained in practice. And the organisers said the 250 race is by far the best race of the day, so they changed it over and ran the 500 before the two. So Mike was a friend of mine, and I said, when you come back from the race, and I said, make sure you've got Phil between you and me as you're walking back, and I'll shout out,
what's it like, Mike? And if it's grippy, he'd tell me it's slippery. And if it's slippery, he'd tell me it's grippy. So as he walked back, I said, what's it like, Mike, out there? And he said, be careful, it's so slippery, which meant it was very grippy. And I went off and then you come down here around the hairpin and over the line. And you can get the timing from coming down the hill. They can time you and give you where you are, not a lap later. +7 full. I went 7, 13, 12, whatever, and then it came back down, and I think I won by the 7 that I stole in the beginning of it. Another interesting race here, we're on the grid on the 250s, and Mike said to me, last 5 to count. And I said, yeah, okay, but I didn't want to do it really. I wanted to break the MZ and go off for it all the way. And another guy piped up and said, you can't do that. And Mike said, pass us. So off we went, and we're in the lead and playing the full. So we lined up the race. And on the last lap, I'm coming down here, and I'm in the lead, but I can hear him, and I know he's there. And I thought, he's better than me wide, so I better stay out here, but I'm better than him there. So I don't know what to do. So I braked as late as I could, and I saw him coming, so I went across the front of him, and he hit the back of my bike, and he skidded me round, and I was able to get on the gas, because I was round the corner now. And he was in the front wheel wobble, and then I've got pictures of him coming like that, and I just got over the line in time. The bad side of the 60s was 1 a month died. You know, that was the big thing. The first thing you had to think about was stay alive. And we always used to say, you can crash in Germany, England, Czech Republic, and Holland. You mustn't crash in France, Spain, because of the thing. And then the medical wasn't so good in those countries. We sort of, you know, we knew each other, and some you were more friends than others. And it was terrible when all those times, you know. And I always said I'd like to retire while I'm still alive. And I managed to do it. Anyway, here I am, so, you know.
Everything has a happy ending in the end.
We set a goal to get to 30. You know, what a lovely thing it must be to get to 30 years of age. And so many of my friends didn't make it, and I've made it to 84, you know. It doesn't seem fair. They should have had a few of my years, you know.
Well, we are all so glad that Jim is still around to share some of those fantastic stories. And from the oldest of the legends to the youngest now, as we catch up with 3 of the riders who straddled the transition from 500cc Grand Prix to the modern world of MotoGP. Australia's Gary McCoy, Northern Irishman Jeremy McWilliams, and the Flying Dutchman himself, Jurgen van den Gerberg. What was their take on being able to sample the 2 strokes once more?
Not knowing what to expect, coming here and jumping on very exotic machinery, you know, worth hundreds of thousands, maybe more. And then, yeah, we kind of, you know, when we had that conversation in the green room, you know, with Wayne, and he's kind of said, you know, keep it down, lads, you know, keep it slow, and it obviously turned into a full-on race.
No, that's right. I mean, that's the whole reason I come too. I've sort of given up all the racing, you know, the serious racing anyway, and Wayne said it was just all about fun, and you know, we go out, and like you said, they're expensive bikes, and they're hard to get now. Yeah, they're really collector's
But then we
items.
saw Freddie leaving a little bit, you know, the group, and I was like, okay, who's gonna chase Freddie then? And who's gonna chase me again? And so
all of a sudden it's like
racing, you know.
He's getting away. So
and on the moment I see him sliding like a big slide, like a black line, I thought like, yeah, he's on the limit. He's back again.
I'm thinking he's doing that deliberately, you know, only until afterwards you said, no, like, I didn't mean that slide.
Well, there was a couple that weren't deliberate.
I don't even Rolf hanging off the bike one time, you know, like, I'm not pushing.
I asked him, did you have a big moment? He went, no, mate, no. I said, we were sideways. 4th gear downhill.
So, yeah, some proper racing was going on.
Yeah, this track is special because it's it holds memories from all of us for different reasons. But you know, here, like in '98, the track was slightly shorter, and I finished second. I finished in front of Valentino actually on a 250. So it's always had a kind of special place in my heart. Coming back to SACHSENRING, I prefer the new track with the downhill section, the waterfall section. it was a little bit tight for the big bikes, and actually even now, you know, imagining the MotoGP bikes here, it's really tight. It's the tightest track probably on the calendar, right? But it's so technical. You know, you're on the side of the tire for so long, but you know, and I was trying Continentals yesterday, and I wasn't really getting on with them, you know, and I was having a few moments, and then I'm thinking, I cannot afford to drop this bike.
Yeah, that's right. I was the same. I mean, the first lap, like you said, it's just all lefts, and then you got that one right down the hill.
And that's where you
went. That's where she let go, yeah, and I was like, whoa.
You see all these pictures in front of you of bikes crashing, and no, it's not like watching out.
It's great listening to the sound of the two-strokes again. You know, when you're in amongst that, you see it, there's quite an excitement on the grid, just sitting with a whole grid full of two-strokes again.
Yeah, but even the fumes, you know, what I said yesterday, well, I was just on the back of the group, and the fumes again, you know, it's so different than the four-strokes. Even my throat gets a bit sore from it, you know. It's like we didn't have that with the four-strokes anymore. So
do you remember when we used to race and you're right behind, and the fuels back then were like, well, they were completely illegal, you know, like huge.
Oh, I'm talking with Frankie about the Gileras. It was the Gileras in the old days.
Yeah.
They were using Egypt fuel, and these guys were doing the mask, you know, to get the fuel into the tanks. And if you ride behind those bikes in Hockenheim or something, you know, you're just dying halfway in the race.
Your eyes are just watering. You're stuck there and you go, oh, I can't really see what's going on. You can't afford a slipstream for so long. You were getting that yesterday,
Yeah, I was getting it yesterday, definitely. Yeah. But it's, you know, it's amazing to feel the power again. You know, I'm riding this factory Suzuki this weekend, and I can tell you, you know, the first time I went on this straight again, and it's even a short straight, the thing just kept wheeling third, fourth. I think like there's the finish line already. It's like fifth gear. It just kept going up. It's just so immense power, and my eyes need to have reflection again, you know, for this speed. It's a long time I've been on a racetrack with this sort of speed again, and it was exciting. It was just
like
so
those
exciting.
Suzukis are making like 130 kilos and 185 horsepower.
They're 15 years ahead of their time. It's just there's no R1 or another Suzuki street bike that even had come close to this sort of power with acceleration, you know.
Or fun.
Fun also.
Same. I mean, I hadn't ridden one for 14 years, and when I went back out on it, I was like, yeah, this is the bike. Like,
unbelievable.
You know, I've ridden all these four-strokes now, and they are just easy to ride.
You and I rode together lots in our career, but you know, following you just looked identical. You just looked like I could tell that's Gary McCoy. Even though he had Jurgen's leathers on, I go, that's definitely Gary.
Like we all had the front row there at the last.
Yeah.
Australia.
Is that Phillip Island? Yeah. Oh, so that's three we're on.
You were on the KR3 then?
KR3, yeah. You were on Honda.
Yeah, because the year before I was on the KR3, so yeah, I was on the Kanamoto Honda. I was the only one with the Bridgestones then.
No, because I was in Bridgestone. I think it was a full Bridgestone.
Yeah, you also actually.
I had Dunlops.
You had Dunlops, all right. Okay, so it was a mix.
On Bridgestones then.
So it was also Bridgestone's first pole position.
Yeah. They were getting better then already.
Yeah. I remember Kenny saying to me, I was like second or something. I think you were quickest. He said, "Okay, park it."
No way.
I'm not parking this.
It's good to see us all on the front row, but yeah, in the race, it's delaminated or something. It's like thrown a big chunk of tyre off, and I've had to come in.
Anything to do with the way you ride it?
Maybe. But, no, I had to come in. We put in a fresh tyre, and I went back out, and then the leaders were not far behind me, so I let them through, and then I just tagged on the back of Valentino and Barros at the time.
It's obviously Phillip Island, I can say it was my favourite track. I'm sure you guys probably think
yeah. It was probably one of my best races actually there, because I finished best sort of two-stroke, but I was been fighting all race long with Ukawa and Kato,
right?
You know, and we were fighting for third position. And I remember I came out of the last corner, last lap, and I'm third. And I think like, fuck, there's a podium, you know. And for the four-stroke Bridgestone, it's gonna be awesome, you know, the last two-stroke. And then just before the finish line, whoa! And you know how fast the 500s are. And then they pass you with this sort of speed, you know, that was the end of the 500 two-stroke area. That's it.
Yeah, it was sad, but that was kind of the end of the era for two-strokes. We knew it was coming, and I knew in 2003 I was going to have to come back there on a four-stroke, and I actually wasn't really looking forward to it. And as it worked out, you know, with Team Roberts, you know, the bike never kind of ever developed. Well, it never matched those lap times that the two-strokes were capable of.
Well, luckily for them, the boys will get another chance to get out on those 500s again shortly. But that wasn't the only thing keeping the fans happy over the weekend in Germany. There were the usual autograph sessions, meet and greets with the riders, and Saturday night even saw a party in the town centre of Hohenstein-Ernstthal, which saw thousands descend on the main square for a parade, and then the riders were up on stage. Time for race 2 then, here at the Sachsenring, and I'll remind you, it's Freddie Spencer on pole position alongside Gary McCoy. Wade Gardner switched to the number 9, the Suzuki on which Ralph Feldman won yesterday, as Spencer gets away well from the start alongside him McCoy as they power down to the first corner for the very first time. 10 laps again in the race here for the second one. You see the two number 6 bikes, the one with the orange helmet, that's Jamie McWilliams on the Ronax, and the other is Jörg Schöllhorn, former German champion, as we go on board with McWilliams plunging down the hillsides here at Sachsenring. Over the waterfall for the first time, and it's Spencer leading. McCoy in second place, thinks about something around the outside. McWilliams in third spot. And then you just saw Schöllhorn just in behind. Down the hill, right to the bottom, and then it climbs back up and over the front straight. We're on board with Freddie Spencer. Down that straight now. Quick look at his dash as he goes through, just seeing how close that's getting to the limiter as he comes around turn 1. McCoy in behind him, McWilliams in third. Through this torturous, twisty Sachsenring track. Now McWilliams takes over. Down the hill, in towards turn 12. Who's that in second place? Looks like Spencer's there. Very tight group, isn't it, at the front? 5 riders in there. Into turn 1 once more. McWilliams takes over from Spencer. McCoy is in third place now with Schöllhorn just in behind. On board from McWilliams' bike, you can see Spencer and McCoy just in the rear. This is climbing up this long sequence of left-handers you get here. Over through turns 4 and 5. Gary McCoy now attacking as they go down the waterfall. Through he goes on the inside of Jeremy McWilliams. I think that's Lothar Neukirchner on the Kawasaki KR500. Yeah, I think it is. Maybe a few problems for the German. McCoy will get past no problem. Back on board with McWilliams. Now you can see Spencer just in behind him. He's going to pull past. He is. Great move from Freddie Spencer as they go down towards turn 1. Still it's McCoy leading. Spencer in second, McWilliams in third now. Then it's Niggy Schmassman who's come up into 4th place. Jürgen van der Gerberg. They're on board with him now. This is van der Gerberg's helmet cam. Great shot, isn't it? He's riding, of course, that Nobuo Atsuoki 1998 RG500 Suzuki. So go through turn 12. Can we see McCoy light it up in there? Not this time. Keeps it very much in line. As both Spencer, McCoy thought about going through on the inside of McWilliams. Not this time though for the Aussie as they power up the straight once more. This roller coaster front stroke we've got here at Sachsenring. Now it is fast Freddie Spencer, 3-time world champ who leads. From Jeremy McWilliams, and he's gone through quickly and hard into turn 1, and he's made it stick, so McWilliams takes over now. Spencer relegated to second place, McCoy in third. Up through turn 4, then over 5 and 6, dropping down the hill. Spencer back in the lead. Down the waterfall they go once more. On board with McWilliams. Is that McCoy coming to the inside? It is. Spencer goes to the outside, but he's got... Oh, McCoy's in second now. It's McWilliams who's taken over the lead. Can this be it? Will this be Joe McWilliams? It is. McWilliams is going to take it. He does. From McCoy in second place. Freddie Spencer is third. Niggy Schmassman, the Swiss rider, in 4th place. But it's McWilliams who stands on top of the podium step. McCoy in second. And Freddie Spencer there in 3rd place. Great to see the legends do battle once more.
Jeremy, a successful weekend all round. Podium on Saturday, win on Sunday. You've got to be happy with how this whole weekend's gone here at the Race of Legends.
I mean, it's incredible. We were really blown away just by the support from the fans. The organisation's been you know, second to none, and the bike ran like a dream, so I couldn't really want it for much more this weekend. Yesterday we had a few problems and kind of struggled a little bit. The bike's pretty new, and they changed some parts. So, I mean, it's just mapping, just fuel injection, but the bike ran like a dream today. I mean, to be able to fight with the factory guys, you know, at full song was something, you know, you could only dream about on a bike that's been built locally here in Germany. So pleasure to ride for the Ronex guys, and we've had just a dream weekend, really. Couldn't ask for more.
So after another successful couple of Race of Legends, all that's left is to hear from rider ambassador Wayne Gardner with his take on the German weekend.
I'm extremely proud and very happy. It's been a sensational hit, and the locals and the fans have been incredibly passionate, patient, and enthusiastic over the weekend. They had nearly 31,000 people here. It's been a massive success. We had a big party in town last night, and there was thousands and thousands of people there. The racing was fantastic. All the riders rode extremely well. There was no crashes. There was no bikes broken or damaged. Perfect weekend.
I think we'd all echo Wayne's sentiments. It's been another action-packed event at the Sachsenring, with all the fans heading home happy. The Race of Legends will be back in July at the Silverstone Classic in the UK, and if the success of the German event is anything to go by, it should be another superb occasion. So it's goodbye from Sachsenring and myself, Gavin Emmett, and I hope you've enjoyed this latest edition of the World GP Bike Legends, and you make sure you join us next time.